Why haven't y'all tried miracle food yet?
Miracle food.
Mega food.
Miracle foods.
Miracle food.
Miracle food.
Miracle food.
Miracle food.
Miracle food.
Please support your Black businesses and support your health. This is a tool to genuinely heal people. It's through the roof. I feel like I'm low-key levitating in this bitch. This should be in your cabinets.
As we were making our way into the studio, the verdict came in from the R. Kelly case, and I immediately started seeing a lot of stuff on Instagram, Twitter, that said that R. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in prison today. 30 years. Now, if you remember a couple of weeks ago, it was a rumor that came out, or not even a rumor, but it was pretty much a statement that came out that said they were going to try to give him, prosecution was looking for 25 years, and they fobbed up that. So, yeah, R. Kelly, man, he looks like he's going to die in prison. Yeah. Unless he lives till he's 80-something years old. He can appeal, but let's be honest, how many times do appeals actually work? Yeah, rarely. Slim to none. Yeah. So, saying, man, R. Kelly, 30 years. What you think?
This is definitely a situation where they missed a man once, they weren't missing a man again, and they had a serious point to prove. And that was, you're not getting away. We will set an example out of you and throw you under the jail. And that's what essentially they did. Now, let's break this down, because as far as an opinion is concerned on whether or not it's too much, I really don't know. I'm kind of torn on the whole thing. I don't know what is too much for the things that he was allegedly accused of doing. And I still have to say allegedly, even though in my mind, I feel like some of them things were some dirty, rotten shit he did. We don't have any DNA evidence. We don't have any actual concrete proof that vile and vicious things were done to these young women, young men, whatever the case may have been. Now, we've seen the narrative. We've seen the Surviving R. Kelly, or the people out there have seen it. I never saw it, but we heard the ladies coming out, and we've seen the narrative be spun, and it's a dirty, nasty, disgusting narrative. And if in fact he was, in fact did those things, then like I said, I don't know what's too much or not too much. But this shit is to one of the greatest R&B singers of all time. Yeah, somebody that should be going down in the history as one of the greatest artists of all time, songwriters, singers of all time. Like a lot of black men in this world, and I'm not just putting this on the black man, but I'm just saying it is what it is. A legacy is tarnished, ruined, and destroyed forever. So, I mean, it's a crazy day. I don't want to say I'm sad. I don't want to say I'm happy. I don't know what I'm feeling right now. All I know is that man, like you just said, all intents and purposes, may lose his life in that jail cell.
Yeah, and I don't know, man, if this was justice or miscarriage of justice. I'm not really sure, you know, yet. I've seen the thing about Aaliyah. I've heard, you know, some of the things and allegations, but to me it kind of seems like this whole thing was kind of played out more so in the public, in the opinion of the public. You know, documentaries, what people think, and things like that. I don't know if it was ever, you know, without a shadow of a doubt that he done what they accused him of. Some of the things, like the Aaliyah thing, people talk about, you know, the old sex tape and things like that. I just think it was more so, like I said, maybe not more so evidence that convicted him, but just like public persona, public thought about him, his character, you know, the Aaliyah thing, the whole tape years ago, the new allegations. People probably thought this has to be true now. Like, oh, yeah, the first time this happened, oh, you know, this, oh, yeah, this has to be true. So I don't know. You know, I seen a video earlier today where, you know, a random dude was pretty much talking about a conversation that R. Kelly had with Minister Louis Farrakhan. Don't know if it's real, don't know if it ever happened. And the conversation, again, this guy, I don't know if he's telling the truth or not. He was saying that his catalog could be worth upwards of $1 billion. Again, to me, it seems like maybe it could be a stretch. I'm not sure how that whole thing works, but I don't want to go down a conspiracy lane here. I know a lot of people are. A lot of people are like, yo, he got railroaded. And then I look at the fact, man, that I do think some of this was possibly true. But I think that he was a victim way before he was a perpetrator, in my opinion. Not that that takes any heat off of him, man. But I don't know, man. I can't just say, like, justice is served. You know, they got him because they're trying to paint him. They painted him out to be a monster, but I don't know if he's really that. I got to be real.
If we're gonna go on the public perception thing, which is 100% what's going on, very dangerous that people can put narratives out and albeit I don't know, like I said, we don't know if this is true or not, but if it is true,
right,
he should not be the only one sitting behind bars right now, because there had to be somebody bringing these young ladies in. There had to be somebody that closed that door and walked away. There were people in his circle that were taking advantage of that man and his sickness and were allowing these disgusting things to go on. Why didn't nobody in his team, if they actually cared about him, grab his ass and go, yo, you got to stop. You got to chill. This is going to come back and haunt you. You're going to spend the rest of your life in jail. You got to stop. We're putting you in rehab right now. We're doing something to cut this shit out. Nobody did anything because, like you just alluded to, his catalog was somewhere upwards toward $1 billion, allegedly. We don't know if it was $1 billion, but it was quite a bit. This man has wrote some legendary records. This man has performed some legendary records. His catalog is worth some money, to say the least. But you guys were comfortable taking that money and just closing a blind eye and being quiet if in fact all these things were happening under y'all watch. And it's a sad day because he should not be the only one held responsible. That's why I say it's sad. If these women are receiving justice, if in fact he did this, I'm cool with it. 30 years, whether that's too much or too less, I'm not at bay to say. But I just wish they had more concrete evidence before you throw a brother in jail for 30 years. Yes, the Aaliyah situation, there was a marriage license. We see that. Is that worth 30 years?
right.
Is that, should he be punished? Should he be reprimanded? Should he maybe under the law, letter of the law, receive some jail time? Okay, yeah.
Sometimes
30 years?
And I watch a lot of these little court things, police interrogations, and most of the time it's more than just what people say. Yeah, it can help, it can point different places, but sometimes it's like Dick, you say DNA, camera, documents. It's just like you just can't come and say, okay, this person did this to me. Okay, was this person even there at that time? You know what I mean? Was there any cameras there? Because maybe they got an alibi. They was 2,000 miles away. That's all I'm saying with this type of thing. To me, it just seems like it was people came out with these stories, and they took the stories and they ran with them to get this conviction. It almost seems like the man was railroaded. Mm-hmm. It almost seems like that. Like, again, I'm not saying. I mean, again, we got to concede to the Aaliyah thing. Obviously, we got to concede to a lot of things with R. Kelly. Him. Being a weirdo. I could concede to that. But is he that monster that the prosecution painted him out to be? I'm not sure. I'm just not sure.
I seen a headline yesterday before they dropped the sentence that said one of his brainwashed victims have got engaged to R. Kelly while in jail. Like, why that narrative? Like, why is she, like, how do we know? How is it definitive evidence that these ladies were brainwashed?
Yeah, that's a good,
Like, hold on now. R. Kelly couldn't even fucking read, but he can brainwash women? Like, it's just, I don't know. Though, when I see that kind of stuff, it makes me kind of look at it at a different direction. If they had DNA evidence, if they had concrete proof, there's nothing to talk about here.
Right.
This man's a dirty motherfucker. He deserves what he deserves. Still can't go whether or not 30 is too much or too little. But okay, he deserves what he deserves. But off of hearsay, off of fucking narratives, we talk about Michael Jackson, defend him all the time. If he got caught with some of the things that he got alleged with during this time, he'd probably be sitting under the jail based off of the fucking the media and how they spin things. Because nowadays, you're guilty before proven innocent, which isn't right.
Right.
It's not right.
Like I said, if he is guilty, they'll toss his ass away. But if there's a shadow of a doubt that something maybe wasn't right or he may have been innocent, every man I think deserves that.
Yeah.
That consideration. Every man.
Facts.
And woman.
So yeah, man. So we were talking about this prior to coming on the show. 30 years is what he received. Will 30 years be the time he does?
Probably not. But then I was saying that he has a couple other cases he has to deal with. But as far as with that one, I don't think that maybe 18, 17. I don't know what the guidelines are. I don't know if he's under the 75, 80, but, some people say maybe 10, 12. I don't know. Is he going to do enough time until where his career is over?
Yes.
He's done with the music.
Done.
Right.
You know what's sickening? I just thought about this. You heard that chick, Giselle Maxwell, with Jeffrey Epstein? She was dating taking girls. She got 20 years.
Yeah.
For, knowingly taking girls, trafficking girls to other countries, while men did disgusting things to them, while women did disgusting things to them. There was no brainwashing involved. They trafficked women.
Yeah, forcefully.
He didn't traffic anybody.
They tried to say he did.
Yeah.
Well, they said, they tried, across state lines and stuff like that. But,
They he ain't take him to an island and go fuck him and then walk off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they don't have the concrete evidence stating that. If he got into a car and went from Chicago to Kentucky, that ain't considered. It shouldn't be. But I don't know, man. I don't want to sit here and act like we're defending a man because we don't know what happened.
Right.
We just got to call it like we see it on the amount of time he just got served for the amount of evidence that they had.
We always do that here.
Yeah.
We rarely, go off what just everybody else is saying and everybody else is doing.